Come join our family of 6 on our 2-week, 1,870-mile road trip in our modified Lance 2185 travel trailer from Utah to Arizona and back to see the Parowan petroglyphs, the Valley of Fire, Lake Mead and the Hoover Dam, Lake Havasu, Quartzsite, Friends in Phoenix, canyoneering near Tortilla Flat, Goldfield Ghost Town and Mine, Sedona, Arizona, the Grand Canyon, Horseshoe Bend, and the Coral Pink Sand Dunes before driving through snow back home. This is our first big road trip after all our modifications to make our travel trailer fully electrically powered by 2,650 watts of solar panels on the roof and 9.6 kilowatt hours of lithium iron phosphate batteries, as well as Starlink for internet connectivity. Click on the card above to watch the overview video of all our modifications, which enabled us to never use our generator or any propane throughout the entire trip. This was also the first trip with James, who was born 9 weeks before we departed. Being in February, we used our heat pump mini split for both heating overnight in below freezing temperatures in Utah and a little bit of cooling in Quartzsite, Arizona. Throughout the trip, we only boondocked on free public lands with one exception of mooch docking in a friend's driveway in Phoenix. Come join us while we explore beautiful new places and test the performance of our fully sun-powered travel trailer in the real world. Hey girls, good morning. How did you sleep? Are you warm enough?
Yeah.
It's now about 7:30 a.m. and the trailer has been kept at 70 degrees Fahrenheit inside all night, and we are now sitting at 16% battery. So that's quite a bit of energy loss. I've done other experimentation and it hasn't always been that much, but outside it's quite cold. This is a temperature device that has an outdoor component that's going out through the hole in the floor down there where the mini split goes out. And then it has the indoor portion, which is just the device itself. So it's showing that inside right now, at least where it's sitting, it's at 65 degrees, and outside it's 16.7 degrees. Also, when I've experimented in the past, I kept the inside more like 65 degrees, and I've experimented with 50 degrees, and it will only consume like 40% of the battery overnight when I keep the inside at around 50 degrees. But that's also with it being outside, being in the single digits, but I wanted to keep it warmer in here when James and the girls were in here. Also, it looks like the solar panels are just barely starting to produce some energy there at 8 watts. Girls, what do you want to do today?
I want to go see some petroglyphs.
Alright, let's do it.
No, right now. First have breakfast.
Let's have breakfast first. Plus, it's really cold outside.
And I'm hungry. I'm starving.
And there's James. Still sleeping away. How did you sleep?
Dad.
Hey girls, what are you watching?
My school.
Your video school? Yeah? Here's our view out the window.
Do you think a little red hen could make bread all by herself?
Right now I'm using the microwave for breakfast, and you can see that the microwave is pulling a whole bunch of wattage. We're up to 2200 watts total, but the mini split is pulling 300 on this line, so that means it's 300 on the other line as well. It's pulling around 1500 watts right now, but that's only for a short period of time until the microwave is done. And we're down to 10% on the battery right now, but that's actually probably okay because we're going to be leaving fairly soon anyway. As you can see through the window, the sun is streaming in, just started to hit the trailer. The girls are eating their breakfast. How's your breakfast, girls?
I don't
Good.
know.
She hasn't started. Up here I'm still making some more, so the microwave is still going. And so we are down to 8% on the battery. But you can see the solar input is at 285 watts right here, and that is just going to continue to climb quickly right now as it pans across the solar array on the roof. And I'll go outside and show you what that looks like. There's the sun just coming over the ridge, and there is our rig. You can see the solar panels are quite covered with frost, so as that melts off, the solar production will only increase. Well, you can see here it's nearly 9 a.m. and we have 550 watts of solar coming in, and so our battery's being discharged at the rate of 121 watts. So it's getting pretty close to breaking even, and then we're going to start charging the battery here at 5%. It is now about 20 minutes later, and you can see we're now charging the battery at 550 watts and the solar is 766 watts. So we're now uphill from here. So you can see the mini split power has reduced quite a bit, and so this would be just probably barely breaking even with the mini split if it was up to what it normally is, but it cycles on and off. I now have the induction cooktop on at 450 degrees, which is it's maxed out, and looking at the power consumption, We're sitting at 1743 and discharging the battery at this point at 1284, and we're getting 800 watts of solar still. All right, the water got up to boiling, and we are now down to 4% battery, and we're bringing in 850 watts of solar, and so it's charging the battery at this point in time. Hey Lydia, what you doing?
Feeding James.
Oh, thank you for your help. Your hair looks great, Clara.
Oh,
You said thank you.
thank you.
It is now 11 a.m. and we're going to go explore the petroglyphs. We're all packed up and the PV is now at 1488 and the battery's up to 14%. So it's going to keep charging while we're driving, and right now we're just going to go down the road a short distance and go explore the petroglyphs, and it'll be parked in the sun. So it's just going to keep charging for the rest of the day, and we'll see how high it gets, and then this evening we'll potentially have to use the generator to get the difference if the sun is not enough. After eating breakfast, the girls and I explored our campsite for a bit while James stayed warm inside. There's certainly more camp spots in this area, but in general it's pretty uneven terrain, so come prepared with the proper equipment for significant leveling of your rig. Just past our trailer, there's a steep spot in the road that will limit larger RVs from going up farther into the mountains. The solar panels were covered with frost, but that melted away quickly once the sun came over the mountain to the east. Starlink worked great here at 73 megabits per second download speeds and 8 megabits per second up, which speedtest.net and the Starlink app agreed with. We then packed up the trailer for travel and drove down to see the petroglyphs, which are just a short drive down the mountain from this boondocking location. We are now over at the parking lot for the petroglyphs. You can see here there's really only one good spot for an RV to park here hooked up. This parking lot's relatively small.
Stay on the trails. Walking off the trails can disturb rocks and artwork and erase their historic significance. Use the crosswalk and watch for vehicles on the Gap Road. Leave no trace of your visit. Follow this trail and see what we can see.
Let's do it.
I think these are some of the pictures we're going to be looking for on the rocks.
What do you see, girls?
Come over here. You see
All
that
the way up
big
there.
rock right there. Keep looking.
Oh, I did one.
Yeah?
Yeah, me too.
Oh yeah. We are done exploring the petroglyphs and we're now going to head down to Nevada. We're at 34% on the battery and producing 1661 watts right now. Girls, what did you think of the petroglyphs? A thumbs up from Lucy. Lydia said good. All right, we're gonna drive through the petroglyphs right now. The distance from the Parowan petroglyphs to Sand Mine Road in Nevada was 156 miles, which took us 2 hours and 44 minutes to drive. One of the big advantages to rooftop-mounted solar panels, instead of going the ground-deployed route, is that you get full solar generation while driving. Well, at least most of the time. There's no solar to be generated down here in this canyon south of St. George. We are in full shade for a couple of miles. But at least it's generating most of the rest of the time. Finally, we could start to see Lake Mead in the distance. We are now on Sand Mine Road, which is where we're hoping to find a camping spot, but we will just have to explore it and see if there's anything available. We're going to go up this for another about 0.9 miles. And this is the backdrop of where we're located tonight. James is in here eating, and then let's see where we got. So it looks like through the course of the drive today we got up to 77%, and we're still getting 959 watts of solar, which is pretty fantastic. So we're going to see where this gets by the sunset today. Over here on the wall I set my thermometer up, and so we can see here that it is 62, almost 63 degrees inside the trailer and 58 degrees outside, which is fantastic. It is now 5:07 p.m. and that is Utah time, not Nevada time where we are right now. The battery got up to 82% and we're pretty low on the solar now. We're going to start cooking, so this is going to go down. But I just thought it was interesting. We got from 4% this morning up to 82% throughout the day of driving. Hey girls, what are you playing?
Bananagrams.
Start
I
with-
spelled roar.
Good job. Now make it right side up, and now you have to use one of the letters in that
I
one
was
to spell your
doing
next
zipping.
word.
We have finished with dinner now,
Yeah, you don't have a
and the battery's down to 80%, and I just turned on the mini split and
Oh.
set it to 70 degrees, and we'll see how much it consumes overnight. And right now it is 6:21 p.m.
Put on
It's now bedtime. You girls are all ready? It's now 10:38 p.m. Utah time, and the battery's down to 63%. So we'll see how it fares in the morning. The mini split is set to 70 degrees Fahrenheit. and it is about 47 degrees outside. This is the Victron monitoring portal that comes from the Victron equipment in the trailer, and this is the historical data chart for the day, which was February 4th. The state of charge of the battery is represented by this blue dotted line, and each of the dots is an hour of the day. So you can see that there is this blue shaded area showing the range of the state of charge of the battery throughout that hour. The red bars on this chart are the consumption. So the mini split was on throughout the night of the night prior, and that's the consumption here. And it looks like the mini split was consuming about between 500 and 600 watts continuously throughout the night, but that varied a bit. So that was consuming about half a kilowatt hour or a little bit more per hour. We bottomed out at 4%, and that's when the solar started to take over, and we also pretty much stopped consuming electricity, because that's when we started exploring the Parowan petroglyphs and driving down to Lake Mead. The orange bars here are the production from the solar panels, and so you can see that it was a nice sunny day, so we have a nice bell curve here, and the state of charge of the battery went back up, and it peaked at 82% before it then began to decline throughout the evening, and the mini split was consuming about 300 watts. As you can see here, it's showing consumption of about 0.35 kilowatt hours for an hour, and the temperature down there was not very cold, so that you can see the difference in the mini split consumption down here in Lake Mead versus over here at the Parowan petroglyphs. That's about half of the energy consumption, actually. Looking at the aggregate stats for the whole day, the solar produced 11 kilowatt hours and our consumption was 9.8 kilowatt hours. And then the difference there, because it didn't completely fill the battery is 9.6 kilowatt hours, remember, is basically the efficiency losses in the system as the electricity goes through. There's different components that have different loss percentages, the biggest one being the inverters, so that's why consumption is so much lower. And also keep in mind, this consumption only represents the AC current, not the DC. And the refrigerator is the biggest DC load that we had, and that is pulling roughly 60 watts when it's on, but then it also turns off and it just cycles on and off, and that is not reflected in this consumption. The other DC loads would be the lights and fans and miscellaneous things like that. In the next video, we continue our electrical system testing before we explore the Valley of Fire State Park in Nevada for the entire day. If you would like to get notified automatically when the next video publishes, subscribe to our channel and change the bell notification to all. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.